How's it going, guys? It's Red, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys a super powerful melee setup that you guys could be using right now in Back 4 Blood just after the big December update. Now, when using this setup, you guys should be able to easily blow through Recruit and Veteran, and this build can even be taken into Nightmare. But before we get into that, if you're new here to the channel, make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe for more awesome Back 4 Blood content just like this. Also, make sure to check out the link to my Discord server. It's going to be down in the description below. You guys can use it to find teammates to play Back 4 Blood with, so if you guys are in some dire need of teammates, make sure to come check out the Discord server. And without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Alright, so here we are in the deck building menu in Back 4 Blood. This is going to be the complete deck list, so if you guys are just looking to copy and paste the deck, now is your time to do so. But I'm going to be spending the rest of this video just kind of going over why every card is in the deck, just what role every card plays, and just everything like that. Now, the objective of this deck is really simple. We're a melee build, so we're going to be getting real close and personal with all the zombies, and we are going to be by far and away, the front line of everything. Even if there's a shotgun guy, even if there's an LMG guy, you're in front because you're the melee. All you're going to be doing is swinging your sticks over and over again. We are not going to be shooting guns very often. Overall, just stay in front, make sure to kill most of the commons because all of your DPS people are going to be able to like focus down the special infected more, but I mean for the most part just take care of the commons and help with the specials when you can. Now in the number 1 slot we have Meth Head, which gives us plus 40% melee attack speed, plus 30% melee stamina efficiency, and our melee attacks no longer stick in tough enemies, but it disables our aim down sights as the downside. Now, I mean, for the disabler being we don't get to aim down sight anymore, like that's not that big of a deal because our build is based on meleeing. You know, we're not really shooting guns that often, and when we are, it's not like we're, you know, sitting there with a sniper, you know what I mean? Like, we either have, like, a light machine gun or a shotgun, so we can easily hip fire. Now, I know disabling your ADS kind of seems like a big downside, but I mean, like, in a melee build, it's not that bad, and we get more attack speed, and we get to swing more before we're out of breath, and this makes it so our melee attacks don't stick in tough enemies. This just does 3 really good effects with basically no downside. Like, this is kind of like at cold brew coffee kind of status, but I mean, just not quite as good. Now, at the number 2 spot, we have Adrenaline Fueled, which says, when we kill an enemy, we gain 7 stamina over 7 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. Now, this card actually got a really huge nerf with the December update. This card used to give us double stamina. Yeah, it took away some stamina regeneration, and it gave us more stamina instantly when we killed zombies and more over time. Now, we need a way to regenerate stamina in this melee deck because our entire game plan revolves around that bar of stamina. We can't really just wait for it to come back naturally. Like, we need something to buffer it, and right now Adrenaline Fueled is just the best card to do that. Like, yeah, it's not nearly as good as it used to be, but it's still one of the only things that can quickly and consistently raise our stamina bar up. Now, number 3 is going to be Face Your Fears, which says we gain 2 temporary health whenever we kill a Ridden within 2 meters. They're always going to be within 2 meters because we are a melee build, so we are basically just getting 2 temporary health every time we kill a Ridden. This is obviously an auto include in the deck. This has been an auto include in every iteration since the launch of this game. This card's just really good in your deck. Now, at number 4 we have Batter Up, which I really don't see this card played a lot in melee decks, and if it is, it's, you know, kind of towards the bottom. Now, this card gives us plus 40% melee damage and plus 5 health. Now, the reason that I have this card is here is because look at everything else we have. We attack faster and we can swing longer before we get tired. We already have something that buffers our stamina, and we already have something that buffers our health. Like, think about just the only thing we're missing, you know what I mean? And that's just power. And this is one of, in my opinion, one of the most underrated melee cards because, I mean, it gives us almost just half our damage, and it gives us health on top of that for absolutely no downside. I do think that this is a good starter card to just buffer up the damage that you do because, I mean, you need to be able to kill the special infected because that's what's going to be your bane within the first couple missions until you truly get your engine going. Now, at number 5, we have Brazen, which gives us plus 20% melee stamina efficiency, 30% melee attack speed, and minus 5% damage resistance. Now, that we play this card because, I mean, it's essentially just a worse method, but method's really, really good, and this one doesn't disable our ADS, which, I mean, I guess isn't really a cost anymore, but it does take away 5 damage resistance, which isn't really that bad. But, I mean, the reason we play this, it's just a worse method, but method's really, really good. Like, it's the starter card, so it's obviously doing something right for our deck. And, I mean, Brazen is a card that melee decks kind of veered off playing, like, when it first got nerfed, but I do think, I don't know, I feel like just with how melee goes now, I feel like it's a lot better now than what it was before. Now, number 6 is going to be Rhythmic Breathing, which just simply gives us plus 40% stamina. Now, like I said earlier, our game plan completely revolves around our stamina bar, and we need to be able to buffer it at all times, but we also really need to have a high stamina for really no downside, because with a super low stamina bar, I mean, that's just going to equate to us not being able to swing a lot, and we don't gain stamina every single swing, especially if we're swinging on Special Infected that we can't kill in one hit. Like, yeah, Adrenaline Fuel's good, and it's going to give us more stamina, but I mean, that's assuming we're just killing commons every hit. Like, we need to be able to just to swing more to kill something like a Tall Boy, an Exploder, anything like that. We need to be able to have more stamina. Now, number 7 is going to be Vanguard, which says melee kills grant 1 temporary health to you and nearby teammates. This card's always just been like an auto include. It kind of makes you the healer of the deck whenever you guys are cooped up in a small room and, you know, you're just funneling in the zombies through the doorway, because your teammates are going to get, you know, like 25, 30, 40 health, because I mean, you're just going to be killing so many commons. It's just going to give you guys so much health and so much value. It's just an auto include. Now, at number 8, we have Reckless Strategy, which is going to give us plus 30% weak spot damage and minus 5% damage resistance. Now, I actually clean out swap this card for Hyper Focus. Like, Hyper Focus isn't in the deck anymore, because before the December update, Hyper Focus was like one of the best cards in the deck, because the only downside to Hyper Focus was ADS move speed, which we obviously don't ADS because we play Method. So this card essentially had no downside, and it really let the melee decks abuse it. But now with this new downside saying that we move slower while melee attacking, kind of just to make it more balanced, it got a lot better in the gun decks, but in the melee specific decks, I think Reckless Strategy is better, because I mean, 30% damage isn't much weaker than 50%, but I mean, this downside is just killer on Hyper Focus. It really makes the card really bad in melee decks, in my opinion, and I would rather take this, just minus 5% damage resistance with, I mean, maybe we have to swing one more time to kill its Special Infected, you know what I mean? Like, I'd take that over becoming a snail when I try to swing. Now, number 9 is going to be Spiky Bitch, which gives us plus 20% melee damage, 10% damage resistance while using a melee weapon, with a downside of minus 15% ammo capacity. Now, the downside's really not that important. We don't shoot guns, and they do this because they really wants to lock you into being just a melee build. Like, they don't want you to be able to pull out an LMG with 700 bullets in it, you know what I mean? Just because of all these good effects we're getting for melee. And this card would be higher, but I feel like plus 20% damage isn't enough, you know what I mean? This is why I think Batter Up's so good, because 40% is so much higher than the rest of the good melee damage cards. But 20% is still something, and it really helps in the later game, because this doesn't only give us damage, it gives us damage resistance too, which is also really important, especially in the higher difficulties. Now, number 10 is going to be Motorcycle Helmet, which gives us plus 15% damage resistance and plus 10 health, but it disables our ADS. We already have like 1 or 2 cards that disable our ADS, so it's really not that bad, and that makes it so we can actually play the best one of these armor effects, because I mean, Padded Sue is usually the one we play because we don't want to disable our ADS, but now that we're disabling our ADS anyway, this is the strongest out of all 3 of these armor cards, which gives us 15% damage resistance and plus 10 health. So this is just an auto-included melee, and it pretty much always has been. Now, number 11 is a card that I kind of teched in that I haven't really seen any other people using ever since the Hyper Focus nerf, and that's Killer Instinct, which gives you plus 30% weak spot damage, but it disables our ADS. Like I said before, we don't care about the ADS, and I mean, it gives us essentially Reckless Strategy 2, but with no downside. And I mean, I'd take Reckless Strategy 2 with no downside over Hyper Focused and its new downside. Number 12 is going to be Cross Trainers, which gives us plus 20% stamina, plus 20% stamina regen, plus 3% move speed and 5 health. Now, the last 2 effects, the move speed and the health, they are good, but that's not why we play the card. Play the card for extra stamina so we can swing more, and it gives us plus 20% stamina regen, which right now, other than Adrenaline Fueled, is the only thing we have to buffer our stamina bar. So like I said, good stamina regen effects are very few and far in between. Like, I've thought about playing cards like Energy Bar, but I feel like it's just too linear to play, because like, this card does almost just as good as Energy Bar in like the stamina regen aspect, but then it also gives us stamina and move speed. I mean, because both cards give you plus 5 health, so I mean, those kind of just doesn't matter. But I mean, this just gives me so much more than something like this. Now, number 13 is going to be Berserker, which gives us 10% melee damage, 10% melee speed, and plus 5% move speed for each melee kill in the last 4 seconds. Now, this card actually used to be all the way up here, and the reason that it's all the way down here is because the deck has to play cards like Cross Trainers and Rhythmic Breathing, cards that are going to focus on its stamina a lot more than what the deck had to before, because, I mean, Adrenaline Fueled used to be a lot different, and, I mean, it used to be a lot better. Like, this card's a lot worse than what it is, but, I mean, we still have to play it because it's the only thing that does our stamina bar consistently. And Berserker used to be way higher in the deck because, I mean, the stamina used to be, you know, just a done deal with adrenaline fueled and that's it. But now that isn't the case. So, I mean, this card's good, but I mean, it doesn't give us enough damage early on. Like 10%, that is not enough. We need batter up level status stuff or even spiky bits at the worst. I mean, melee speed, that's not like the biggest thing in the world, but I mean, we have Method and we have Brazen. So, I mean, like, this card isn't doing anything that the earlier cards in our deck aren't doing, and it's not even doing them better. Now, number 14 is going to be Ridden Slayer, which gives us plus 20% weak spot damage. Now, the reason that it's all the way down here is because it's a worse Killer's Instinct, which is a worse Reckless strategy, but being able to get that damage multiplier, hitting a tall boy right in his shoulder weak spot, or like hitting something right in his weak spot is super, super powerful, especially in a melee build. I mean, if we can get to a point where we're one-tapping Special Infected, that is absolutely where we need to be. And the last card in the deck is going to be Numb, which gives us plus 15% damage resistance while we have temporary health. Now, the reason that this card is good is because we have Face Your Fears. Every single time we kill a zombie, we get 2 temp health, so we're essentially always just going to have plus 15% damage resistance. But the reason this is all the way down here is because, I mean, we already have Spiky Bits and we already have Motorcycle Helmet, which, I mean, in total gives us 25% damage resistance. I mean, we do need the extra damage resistance, but not till something like a Finale where we're going to be taking an excessive amount of damage. Because, I mean, we're all, at this point, we're going to be gaining 3 health per kill. I mean, that's a lot. That's going to stack up a lot because, I mean, once we mow down 15, 20 common, you know, just from one little horde, we're going to have a lot of health. And, I mean, the resistance is going to be necessary, but not till all the way down at the end. Well, that's going to do it for the video, guys. Make sure to leave a comment down below telling me any deck changes that you guys would make. And as always, if you happen to enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more awesome Back 4 Blood content, just like this. Also, make sure to check out the link to my Discord server. It's going to be down in the description below. You guys can use it to find teammates to play Back 4 Blood with. So if you guys are in some dire need of teammates, make sure to come check out the Discord server. And until next time, it's been Red, and I'll see you guys in the next video.